Good morning, traders. So let's have a look at the Dow Jones this morning. And yesterday's expected pullback actually played out quite nicely. But I just want to get us some levels in. That's the first level I want to pay attention to. Then we have a Brooks gap. So the top of this pin bar here is a Brooks gap, and it's pretty much where all this barbed wire mess is. So in other words, all these tails all over the place. So that is there. We don't really have any weekly diversions here. We are above the alligator, which is positive, but we're kind of in the middle of the Bollinger Band, which is pretty neutral. Often you find when we travel in the middle of the Bollinger Band, then we start getting a Bollinger Squeeze until eventually something gives. But being the weekly, that may take some time. Okay, on the daily. The first thing we notice on the daily is we have diversions. So the MACD is moving to the downside. Okay, there it is. While price is pretty much a double top. Now for the double top to be confirmed, we'd need to break below this level here. So let's just put that line in. So if we break below that level, that would confirm this double top, and we would target basically the height of the double top. And at first glance, I suspect it's this tail here. Yeah. So that's kind of what, let's just zoom in here so we can see. So that's kind of what we are looking for. If we break below this level, we'll be looking at this tail here. Okay. So we do have this gap which needs to be closed, and it looks like it's going to be closed pretty shortly. And then the line in the sand is going to be this bottom here. Okay, now I don't know if you remember from last week, but that bottom is pretty much a very strong level. I'm just going to add another level in here. So it's these tails. You see there, this bar, pretty much these three bars here, these two bars here, and the low of last week. So that is a very, very strong level. And if we look at the daily, you'll see it's this bar here. Okay. So this is kind of pretty much the line in the sand. If we break this, then you can expect downside, and here's your first target to the downside. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put that line in there because there is a previous swing high. Okay, and obviously it will challenge this one as well. So there's a swing high, there's a swing high. So it will challenge that level as well. But typically these patterns play out. So if it does break below here and we get a daily close below this level, then this is pretty much the target area. And what's the bet? That it is a Fibonacci retracement level. 61.8, so it's between the 50 and 61.8 Fibonacci retracement. Okay? Not that I believe in coincidences, but that's pretty much what I suspect would happen if we break this level. Okie dokie. So let's just move on to see what kind of play I'm looking for. So I was looking for the pullback. I've got the pullback, and I don't have a gap close yet, so it's not quite an entry for me. I'd like to see us close this gap, and then we'll look on the lower time frames to see what's going to happen. So this level is very strong. I mean, we've broken it. We hovered on it. Now we're coming back to test it again. And a break below here will be fairly bearish. So, I mean, that would make me change my tune. But right now, I'll be looking for longs. And I'm looking for longs from, let's just delete this rectangle so we can see what's going on. I'm looking for longs pretty much in this area. We'll put a box in here. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for. Um, that would be the first area. The second area will definitely be on this resistance line down the bottom here. And if we do break below here, then all bets are off, and we'll need to start looking for downside targets. Okay. Now, unfortunately, this is very much political driven at the moment, so we're going to have to wait and see. There's still so much noise about the trade war that anything could happen. So for me, it's probably just put the earmuffs on, ignore the noise, and focus on what I see. Now, what I do see on the hour is we've had our first push down. There it is. Let me just do it there. Okay, there's my first push down. We have had my second push down. Okay, and it's there. And notice what's happening in relation to the Bollinger. We're moving inside the Bollinger. So this is always an indication that change is about to happen. Okay. The second thing that confirms this is the diversions. So price is making a low, but the MACD is making a new high, and this is indicating that there is a change of direction coming. Okay. Now, do we jump in here? Not. That we do not do. Why not? Because we have levels that have not been hit. Okay. So this is a magnet, which is a very strong magnet. Okay, so it's a gap. So we've broken through that level. We've broken through this level. Now we haven't broken through that one yet. So this tail to the top, this one here, you can see coincide with the 200. So we typically bounced off here. We're still trending to the downside. So we want this area to be hit. Okay. And preferably, to be honest with you, you want to hit this area here, because if we bounce off this area with a nice solid bounce, that will be another retest of this level and the breakout failure of this level, which would just add fuel to the fire for a stronger move to the upside. Okay, so I'm still looking for longs, and I'm looking for longs on the pullback, and the pullback, that's not strong enough for me. This is not strong enough for me. This gap area here where I've drawn the block in, that is definitely an area that I'll pay attention to. Okay, so let's just get down to the 15-minute, because this also gives you a better indication. So have a look at what's happening with the awesome oscillator. Okay, you can see how we've made a higher low here. So there's a low, higher low. So we've almost made an inverse head and shoulders here on the awesome oscillator. This is a warning sign. And this is telling you that momentum is changing to the upside. Okay, granted, this is predominantly not all of it. So this was pretty much at the close, and then we've continued down. So again, same drill for me. Not really going to be trading this before the US Open. I'll wait for the US Open. I suspect we have a squirt down to close this gap. Okay. Close this gap and consolidate before we push to the upside. So let's just, I'll just widen the view a little bit, and you can see that the 30-minute is already starting. Same pattern here, diversions. But for me, work it off the hour. I'm looking for my third push down. Okay, so it's one push down, one push up, two pushes down, two pushes up, three pushes down is what I'm looking for, and this is the zone that I will be targeting. So when we get into this area, definitely be going long, and targets are obviously, I want to zoom out here. The targets will be the previous high. Okay. Now you can see we are making new highs. You see we are making new highs. We consolidated and up, and now we've had a quick sell off down to the bottom here to come and close the gap. And I suspect we either going to consolidate more today, or we're going to close this gap and immediately come up and challenge this previous high. So let's just get to the daily so we can just see some levels here. And unfortunately, guys, with all this chaos that's been happening this year, we are range bound. So, your profit taking is going to be pretty pretty much based on every tail almost. I'm just adding lines on top of these tails here. And there's a third one there. Okay, here we go. So you can see how these three areas here are forced to sell off. So now what we're looking for is we'll look for a break through here on the next move, and we start looking for the next levels. And this is the first one. Okay, and there's a tail there, and you can put one probably up in that area there on top of this bar here. So you can see how there's just so much going on here. So until we break above this level, so this level is probably the one that we need to break through. So 25, call it 25,500. We need to break through that convincingly before we can get any form of mini trend going. So as it stands now, we are flirting with diversions, and there are two danger signs. Okay, so obviously I'm looking for a long. I'm looking for this thing to come back one more time down to this area and go long. Stop will be below probably this pin bar here. So I'll draw a nice long line for you. So stops are going to be pretty much in this area here. So ideally, that's why you don't want to be going long there. You've got almost a 200-point stop loss. So let it come back. Tag this area here. Wait for price action. Wait for the confirmation that we're going to get it, because it may come further and come and test this level. So watch the price action, and then you've got a 100-point stop loss there. But if it comes further down and we do tag the bottom of this range, then you're going to be sitting with a 30-40 point stop loss, which is far better risk to reward in my eyes. Okay, that's kind of what my play is. We'll be waiting for this thing to play out. Third push down, and this third push down should technically follow that trend line. Okay, so it should come up, come down, and tag it roughly in this area here, with the Bollinger Band coming closer and this one starting to round. Okay, so this is kind of, with this diversions, that's a play. I really don't expect it to fall below this level here. Okay, if it does, then there's going to be some catalyst that's going to drive it. So either Trump's going to say something, or China are going to say something, or something's going to go on. But as it stands now, I think this is what's going to go down. And if we just add a line along the top, you see it's pretty much a megaphone range type thing. So we've trended down, we're now channeling, and then we want to do a little bit of a range sideways and then a break to the upside. That's my play. That's what I'm looking for. Hope it helps you guys, and I'll catch you later.